please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
We have been given a gift by God today to usher in a new dynasty.
Now you get RFK Jr.
Don't you want a president who's going to make America healthy again?
You get Tulsi Gabbard.
Putting our country in a continual state of war.
You get Elon Musk and you get J.D. Vance.
A hell of a way to start the next 4 years.
The right-wing Avengers.
We have an army of digital soldiers.
Department of Defense under Donald Trump will achieve peace through strength.
Shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one.
The rescission of 78 Biden-era executive actions, executive orders, presidential memoranda, and others.
The golden age of America has most definitely begun.
Begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay.
They're getting the dirtbags off these streets.
There's one guy who can fix this shit, and it's Donald Trump.
What's storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
We are in a war most people don't even see. It's not just bombs or bullets, it's information, technology, and control over what you believe. Every day, powerful forces shape the news you read and the thoughts you hold. This is fifth-generation warfare. And whether you know it or not, you are already on the battlefield. The choice is yours. Remain unaware or recognize the fight and take a stand.
Running through the dark, nowhere left to hide. Battle lines are drawn, taste the smoke and fire. This is warfare. This is warfare. This is warfare. We won't stop until you fall. Cut you down. Take
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're on the world. My name is Josh, and welcome to the Red Pill Project's Daily Dose, live with you Monday through Friday. I hope everybody is doing well out there. And tonight, this is the Precipice. And it's almost like we're getting signs and signals from some important people that this is the Precipice. That video right there was by General Michael Flynn. And I'm scrolling through it right now because there's a certain part that I want to show you. There it is, just one little part. And it's very interesting. If you weren't paying attention, you weren't going to catch it. But I think this is important to note that in this video, General Flynn produced. What just happened? Oh, that's the wrong screen. But anyways, I hope everybody is having a good day. I'm going to bring this up. In this video that General Flynn produced is this guy at 1 minute and 39 seconds. See it right here? Mute it just so we can play it. White Rabbit, cute. Ooh. Was that interesting or was that interesting? It's almost like they're trying to tell us something. That comms are very, very important. That if you want to navigate this war of information, the war that is on your mind, that it's critical to understand how the good guys are communicating. At least that's what I got out of all of this. So today was kind of an interesting day, to say the least. Last night we said, hey, we knew something was going to happen in Venezuela. We had another vessel that was struck. Not significant. I'm not like, that was it. Oh my God, I knew it. Nope. I think we're about to see something much bigger. I got stuff all over me. Sorry. I think we're about to see stuff much different. And 1 second, I got someone calling me. I had to deny his call. If you can guess who it is. But Alpha is calling me right now. That's usually something's going on. So I just said, I'm on a show. Do you want to join? We'll see what happens. But I wanted to go over some of these posts that Donald Trump made yesterday because I think that they're really important. So we're going to pull the first one up. This is what appears to be Batman, I believe, on the edge of the mountain. Right there. Now, I didn't get the reference at first, right? I didn't get the reference at first. And, you know, the word precipice is a very steep cliff. The brink of a dangerous situation, headlong fall or descent is the definition. That's huge. With no comments, nothing, Donald Trump posted this. What do we get from it? 10:45 timestamp. We don't inform our enemies of the specifics. Instead, we instill fear in them and make unplanned and disastrous counter moves. Okay, he posted a video of the precipice on the edge of the cliff with a timestamp of we don't inform our enemies of specifics. We instead instill fear in them and make unplanned and disastrous counter moves. If you're ever looking for a comm, that is absolutely it. Now, I also bring in a few other points here. Some of us come here for crumbs. Some of us drop crumbs, just crumbs. POTUS is 100% insulated. Any discussion suggesting he's even a target is false. That's good to know. And I highlighted parts of Q6 because that video is 6 seconds long. Focus on military intelligence, state secrets, and why this might be used versus any three-letter agency. What Supreme Court decision opened the door for a sitting president to activate West must be showed? Why is POTUS surrounded by generals? We just had the generals meeting the other day. So really, like, massive comm right here with President Donald Trump on this one. So I know we're looking at this. We can say that something is absolutely about to happen. When? Well, Trump said we don't announce those things. We're not going to give our enemy the the pleasure of knowing when, but instead you have to allow it to come back further. So this is where it kind of gets interesting as well. So the video is representing the precipice, right? So now we have to go back and search precipice. What do we get? The swamp runs deep. Sometimes you cannot tell people the truth. You must show them. Only then at the precipice will people find the will to change, to participate. We, the people, have been betrayed for a very long time. Will you stand for God and country, for freedom, for humanity? Where we go one, we go all. Another one. We are at the precipice. The swamp is fighting back. Remain calm. We are here for a reason. Patriots in control. Now, why is this important? So Trump put those out yesterday. And it's almost like there's some collaboration here with General Flynn, because what is he telling you? Every message you hear, every story you see is part of a larger fight. Don't be a passive target. Rise up and defend your freedom. What does he reiterate here? Local action equals a national impact. So go back to that first precipice. Will you stand for God and country? They're both talking about the same thing, people. Pretty interesting, isn't it? Almost like we're getting comms in various different directions. We're getting them for a reason, because they are preparing us right now for what comes next. We've got all the indications across the board that this is absolutely 100% Red October. So what comes next? Well, let's look at another indication that it's Red October. Trump posted this video yesterday. After posting it on Truth Social, he posted it back on X. And I'm not a big fan of this guy, but he posted it at 11:33, right after all of these other posts. What is 11:33? 23:33. Nothing to see here. D5, Red October. D5, avalanche classification. When the avalanche is unstoppable. D5, the middle chess move where you sacrifice the queen and then you move in for checkmate. But if that wasn't it, Donald Trump also put more comms out there. Now, I can't play the video because we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Or actually, you know what? I can. We'll play the video. This is Don't Fear the Reaper. 1 minute and 7 seconds long, and we'll get into that here in a second, but check it out. Stopping it right there. Now their time has come. Right when the clock struck midnight. You remember going back to the other day at the government shutdown? The clock struck midnight. Midnight was the 000 or the quadruple zero number of when it all began. We got the comms from Trump stating it has began. I know this is Dilly Meme Team, and they're arching this in there, but Trump reposted this. More cowbell. All right. So the video goes on, but there's some important parts to see here. Russ Wong, obviously, is the head of OMB, who is already slashed $8 billion of government funding. We're getting indications across the board that obviously 100,000 people put in their resignations on the day the government shut down. We have many furlonged right now. And when the government does come back up, you're going to find a lot of people without a job. How do you eradicate and eliminate the deep state in one fell swoop? You identify them over the first 10 months of your presidency. You know who they are. You pinpoint them. You know that they're maybe leaking classified information or they're deep state infiltrators. And you watch them, you observe them. Then you utilize the shutdown to eradicate their positions and to fire them and get them out of government. Unbelievable. So what do we got here? The Dilly Mean team posted a video, Don't Fear the Reaper, playing in the background, showing the Grim Reaper clearing through Washington. Right where it says the time has come, it was exactly midnight, shut down Red October. This expresses Russ Vought as the Reaper, but still a hidden meaning and timestamps are important. It is about defunding rogue operation, removing the evil from inside Washington and eliminating the deep state. Timestamp 1039. What is timestamp 1039? Here we go. I mean, this was a 6-minute video before other timestamps and deltas, which had a 6-second video. Q6 is added again. Now, the video was 1 minute and 7 seconds long. Were go orders just given? The video is 1 minute and 7 seconds long. Code. May God also grant all of us the wisdom to ask what concrete steps we can take to reduce the violence and weaponry in our midst. Note, when we just sent the go orders and when this tweet went live, coincidence, pray, Q. In other words, their operations have begun, even though we might not be seeing it. So I want you to see the significance of this. Go back to this one. Timestamp is 1039. Here we go. The video is 1 minute and 7 seconds long. Note, when we just sent go orders and when this tweet went live. You got to be kidding me. And when did the tweet go live? Well, there you go. This is absolute 100% undeniable comms from the Trump administration directly to Anons who are paying attention. You got to love it. But what's about to happen? That's the question. People are probably like, man, like, okay, it's going to happen. What's happening? How's it going to happen? What is next? This is where we get into the thick of it. Not much news happening, but I think I'm going to be able to kind of maybe align this so everybody can truly understand what is about to happen. All right. So that's what I want to take my time tonight. We're going to just go over a few pieces of the news, but the comms are telling you right now, this is happening. Like the plan, it's coming into fruition. We're at the precipice right now. We're about to be over the cliff here. Okay. It's about to happen. What's going to happen? We're going to talk about that. But as you know, I am on Rumble. So being on Rumble, I want to go ahead and support what they support out there. And let me see here. All right, let's do this. All right. Hey, football fanatics, are you ready for some primetime NFL action? Tune in to West 1-1 for all the gridiron glory you crave. From jaw-dropping touchdowns to game-changing plays, don't miss a moment of the excitement. Catch every snap, every tackle, and every victory on Westwood One. You can listen to the NFL on the NFL app, on the Westwood One Sports app, on westwoodonesports.com via Westwood One station streams, or by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One. Fantastic. You know, listen, I'm a big football fan. You guys know this. So I watch my football on Westwood One, right? All right. So 1 second. He texted me back. So we're going to jump right into this. What is coming? How is it coming? So over the past 24 hours, a few different things we know. Maduro came out and said to the U.S., get your warplanes off my lawn. Venezuela claims U.S. fighter jets got a little too close, 75 kilometers off the coast, and is now yelling sovereignty at full volume. Maduro's government is accusing the Pentagon of warmongering and promising to take it all the way to the UN complaint box. Meanwhile, he's rolling out his military drills to defend their homeland with 15,000 local defense units and apparently the Christmas spirit. All right. Now, why is this important? So the U.S. military right now is poised at a territorial seizure operations in Venezuela. The Washington Examiner report revealed planners believe forces massed in Puerto Rico and Southern Caribbean are now sufficient to seize and hold Venezuelan ports and airfields. The buildup includes warships, Marines, F-35s, and submarines. Though officially labeled counter-narcotics, analysts say the scale matches invasion-style planning with territorial seizure operations squarely on the table. So we know that they're planning something in Venezuela. Now, why is this important? Because if they attack Venezuela, we know that activation of sleeper cells is going to occur, right? So what does that activation of sleeper cells look? You got to remember, 23 plus million illegal immigrants came over that border. Among them, gangs and cartels from South America, Central America, from Maduro's own elements. You have terrorist organizations, Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis, so forth, training in Margarita Island. You have Venezuelan military training with the IRGC. They flowed over our border and are now tightly concentrated within our major U.S. cities. What does Carolyn Levitt have to say about this? Let's listen to what she says, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on a lot of this here.
To reopen the government. On another matter, despite the Democrat shutdown, President Trump's efforts to make America safe again continue. President Trump believes that American cities should be the safest places on earth, and he is committed to making this a reality. We've already seen that President Trump successfully made D.C. safe again in only a few weeks. That same crime crackdown will continue to happen in cities across the country and is happening in Portland, Oregon. President Trump will end the radical left's reign of terror in Portland once and for all. The president has directed Secretary Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other left-wing domestic terrorists. What's been allowed to happen in Portland, and we saw disturbing video footage of this last night, this is not peaceful protesting, this is left-wing anarchy that has been destroying this great American city for years, leaving police officers battered, citizens terrorized, and business properties damaged. Since early June alone, Antifa terrorists have laid siege to the ICE field office in South Portland. These radical left-wing lunatics have violently breached the ICE facility by using a stop sign as a battering ram, hurled explosives and other projectiles at law enforcement, repeatedly assault and dox officers, berate their law-abiding neighbors, and have even rolled out a guillotine in front of the ICE facility. And more people should be reporting on that. President Trump has sent federal law enforcement to protect federal assets and arrest those fueling this violence. Just last night, we saw an extremely troubling incident where conservative journalist Nick Sorter was captured on video being taken into custody by the Portland police after he was ambushed by Antifa and was defending himself from these assaults. But instead of arresting these violent mob members night after night after night who are ravaging this community, the police arrested a journalist who was there trying to document the chaos, and everyone in this room should be extremely concerned about that. The Department of Justice spoke with that journalist this morning, and they will be launching a full investigation into his arrest. This incident is part of a troubling trend in Portland where left-wing mobs believe they get to decide who can visit and live in their city.
Okay. Don't have to listen to all of it, but how do we go from Venezuela to Portland? You remember the other day when I was laying out all of the laws, the UAMF, and everything that pertains to the legal authority that the Trump administration is going to utilize to eliminate all of this? This is where it gets incredibly important, people. Okay. So let me pull up this real quick. I want to outline this because the question is, how do we go from, hold on, how do we go from Venezuela to Portland, Oregon? But we have to kind of not induce panic into the people of the United States of America, but instead eliminate all of the threats in the United States of America, primarily in the large cities that have sleeper cells in them that are radicalized terrorists, are gang and cartel-oriented terrorists. But we can't tell the American people that, hey, look, there's a massive active terrorist threat within your cities, and yeah, we're just going to declare martial law and lock it all down. You can't really do that. So we talked about irregular warfare doctrine. We talked about UAMF. We talked about NSPMs 6 and 7 the other day. The DOD I 3000.07 irregular warfare was just updated. Now, all of that wrapped in with one specific thing gives the Trump administration the power and the authority to begin eradicating any threats and neutralize them within domestically the United States of America. What is that? The Insurrection Act. So here's a theory I'm going to propose, because we're seeing a psyop on multiple different angles. What do I mean by that? Since the Charlie Kirk assassination, there was this framing being done by the FBI, by the U.S. government, immediately to associate the shooter with Antifa. We had Carlin on. The shooter had nothing to do with Antifa, but yet the FBI was aligning it directly with Antifa. Why? Immediately after, we see the Trump administration declare Antifa a domestic terrorist organization, although in the executive order, there was no guidelines of any legal precedents for that. That's odd. You don't do that. In other words, the legal framework is more of a directive to federal law enforcement that they need to arrest Antifa because they're recognized as a domestic terror organization, but there's no legal framework behind it. Since then, what has happened? Antifa, which if you listen to Carlin when she was on the show, she said that Antifa is not like left funded. They're not like massively funded by Soros or anything like this. This is all internal monies, right? So here's my thoughts. You had this crazy situation that transpired. Charlie Kirk assassinated. And yes, I do believe Charlie Kirk is dead. Never let a good opportunity go to waste. And I think what happened there is that the Trump administration saw the opportunity to utilize psychological warfare tactics to frame it as he was associated with Antifa, begin utilizing the media and the Trump administration's propaganda out there to rile up Antifa, because they know that potentially they're not controlled necessarily by these big organizations. Antifa gets headwind and they take to the streets immediately, setting them up. Federal law enforcement goes out there and meets them. Well, you have to understand about Antifa. If they see law enforcement, this is what they live for. They live for the chaos and the anarchy. So when you have law enforcement meeting them with force, they're going to provide force back, and their numbers are only going to rise. They're going to have calls to action. They're going to believe that their revolution is here. Now, the Trump administration wouldn't do this if they couldn't squash them instantaneously. And I guarantee you there's feds spread throughout all of Antifa. But what I think that we just witnessed here over the last few weeks was a PSYOP, a psychological warfare operation, to set up Antifa, to get them riled up, to get them on the streets, to allow for the executive order to come out for domestic terrorism, to get federal law enforcement into the various different cities, to bring us to this point right here. Now, Nick Sorter, he's just a journalist. But what if he was told to be there? What if it was set up? I don't know. Maybe it was set up. Because that action right there is allowing Donald Trump to deploy military to Oregon. We're going to see this over the course of the next week. This Antifa riot's going to build up. It's going to be like the Summer of Love. And you're going to see the military start to go into these cities. Well, what does that do? That provides cover to start taking out other facilitations of terror groups within these cities. Remember, I told you, Tom Homan's team had been going around collecting SIGINT and human intelligence on all of these high-level players, as sleeper cells, so forth. So what we're seeing right here is that the moment when the Insurrection Act is declared, and that can be brought about through the activities of Antifa, if they persist, which they're going to, because they're enticing them. The federal government is enticing them to persist. And I think they're doing it because they need the legal authority to bring about the Insurrection Act. Once the Insurrection Act is there, you get kind of modified or partial martial law within these big cities. And then you get the deployment of the U.S. military into these cities. And that's when the action starts happening. That's when you stop bombarding Venezuela, because if the sleeper cells get activated at that point in time, you have Joint Special Operations Command there. You have special forces there. You have military. You have Marines. You have quick reactionary task force that are in place in these major cities where they already have intelligence, where they know these people are at. Do you see how that all fits together? And we are absolutely right now seeing, remember what Flynn said in that video, disinformation is necessary. We are watching right now the legal precedent being built for the Insurrection Act. We are watching Antifa rise up, and it's going to get bad. There's going to be riots in the street. Law enforcement, military are going to move in, Insurrection Act, partial martial law, and that's when you will see the U.S. start bombing the shit out of Venezuela. Now, if they start bombing the shit out of Venezuela before that, it only means that the Trump administration has neutralized a lot of these sleeper cells, or that they have a good take on it to where they know that there's not going to be the communication to activate them or something of that nature, that the threat is eliminated or neutralized. And we talked about this, how this has been done economically, how this is done with military deterrence. But now is go time, and we're seeing that from the Trump administration. This is go time. So 2 days ago, the Houthis came out and declared war on Western oil. Western oil. Like, after months of silence, they come out and declare war on Western oil. This is the same time U.S. carrier groups are moving into the Mediterranean. Last night, a large fire erupted at LA County Chevron refinery. Now, it hasn't been declared a terrorist act. I don't believe it will be. But don't you find that a little bit odd? That the Houthis declare war on Western oil companies, including Chevron, and then a Chevron facility in LA blows up? This is what is meant by the silent war. We're seeing it. And, you know, there's an interesting part of that video that Flynn posted, and I don't know if people caught this. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because it wasn't a happy picture of an enemy. 1 second. I want to see if I can find this one picture. There it is. Because this is the conversation we're about to have in the next part. Watch whose face pops up here. Did you see that? I'm going to go back just a little bit. I want you to see the comm that General Michael Flynn is telling you here, okay? Because we're about to get into this part. Right? Ready? Right after Fed. Watch the sequence of videos. September 11th. JFK assassination. Charlie Kirk. You ready? Netanyahu. Do you think that that was a coincidence? Check it out. September 11th. JFK assassination. Charlie Kirk. Netanyahu. What do you think General Flynn was trying to tell you there? Interesting, isn't it? It's all being revealed. It's all being shown, but you got to be able to pay attention. Now, today what we got is Hamas came out and agreed partially to Donald Trump's terms. Now, Donald Trump came out and said this. And they're using AI. They're using AI to beef up these videos and make them look better.
I want to thank the countries that helped me put this together. Qatar, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, and so many others. So many people fought so hard. This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out. We have to get the final word down in concrete. Very importantly, I look forward to having the hostages come home to their parents and having some of the hostages, unfortunately, you know the condition they're in, come home likewise to their parents, because their parents wanted them just as much as though that young man or young woman were alive. So I just want to let you know that this is a very special day, maybe unprecedented in many ways. It is unprecedented. But thank you all, and thank you all to those great countries that helped. We were given a tremendous amount of help. Everybody was unified in wanting this war to end and seeing peace in the Middle East. And we're very close to achieving that. Thank you all, and everybody will be treated fairly.
Oh, everybody will be treated fairly. You know, Donald Trump, he's a good man. He truly does want peace, doesn't he? Now, what did he say in his post, his response to Hamas and Israel? Based on the statement just issued by Hamas, I believe they are ready for a lasting peace. Israel must immediately stop bombing of Gaza so that we can get the hostages out safely and quickly. Right now, it's far too dangerous to do that. We are already in discussions on the details to be worked out. This is not about Gaza alone. This is about a long-sought peace in the Middle East. 2 hours after this, Israel bombed Gaza. You damn well know they got the memo. See, that Israel doesn't want the peace. Okay? I want to show you something. This is the Palestinians in Gaza. After Trump's message to stop dropping the bombs.
مشاهدينا هذه الصور التي ننقلها الآن من قطاع غزة احتفالات في شوارع القطاع طبعا بناء.
Does that look like people who want to continue war and be terrorists and destroy Israel? That looks like people who want the war to end, doesn't it? Because, you know, at the end of the day, what we're seeing here is that, number one, Hamas definitely operates terror, is definitely a terrorist organization. I'm not going to deny that from anybody. But they are the political organization that are in charge of that area or have declared charge of that area. With that being said, I do agree with the terms that Donald Trump has put forth. I like the terms. But obviously, Hamas is not going to like the terms. They want to negotiate those terms, which I think that there's not going to be very much negotiation. But the government of Israel, immediately after Donald Trump says, stop dropping the bombs, drops bombs. Once again, Netanyahu has betrayed Donald Trump. There's going to be consequences for this. So I heard many people are getting demonetized on TikTok and so forth about all this, right? About talking about Israel. Now, here's some good info for you. What is Israel? When we say the word Israel, now, when we say the word America, like America is a country that wages foreign wars, right? America fights terrorism. We're not talking about America. We're talking about the government and the military, right? It's a generalization. So when we say Israel, that's what we mean. But Israel is a sovereign nation located in the Middle East, established in 1948, with Jerusalem as declared the capital, Holy Land. The territory is historically significant to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The Jewish people, rooted in descent from the patriarch Abraham, Jewish identity spans both religion and ethnicity. Covenant with God. In Jewish tradition, Israel represents the fulfillment of the biblical covenant of God and the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. As Christians, we are grafted into the covenant through the faith in Jesus, Romans 11, sharing the promises of Abraham by adoption in the God's family. Israel today is the home of about 9.8 million people, Jews, Muslims, Christians, Druze, and others. What is not Israel? The Israeli government. The elected officials and political parties who govern the state. They represent policies, not the essence of the Jewish people or that land. Israeli intelligence agencies. Organizations such as Mossad, Shin Bet, and Amman are state security arms, not the identity of Israel itself. Zionist donors and financiers outside of Israel. Individuals or networks who support the state politically or financially abroad, separate from the land and the people living in Israel. Now, when we say Israel bombed Gaza, what we are talking about is the Israel government, the policies, right? When we say that Israel is waging psyops on the American people, we're talking about the Zionist billionaires who are most likely American citizens who are big parts of tech and finance, who are funding operations, social influence operations directly in the United States of America with corroboration from the Israeli government. We're not talking about the Jewish people. And I think that that's very, very important because there's a lot of Jewish people out there who are in uproar over Benjamin Netanyahu and what he is doing specifically in Gaza, right? So I said that we're most likely going to see some type of false flag. Israel immediately bombed Gaza, but I think that over the course of the next day or so, we are going to witness something else. I think that over the next day or two, we might even see a terrorist attack in Israel blamed on Palestinians, and Israel will begin the bombing campaign all over again. Why is that? Israel, government of Israel, Netanyahu don't want peace. They don't want peace. They want to eradicate those people from that land. Then they want to do the same thing to the West Bank. They want it for themselves. They want those people out of there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is the truth. They've declared it, many of them. Even Netanyahu has said it himself. With understanding that, a long-lasting peace that Donald Trump is proposing is not going to bring that about. Same thing with Iran. It's not going to happen. Here's the key to understand. Trump knows this. He understands that, hey, if I go in there and I try to negotiate peace between Hamas and Israel's government, or Israel and Iran, and I know that Israel doesn't want peace. Israel wants a holy war. Israel wants those people eradicated from Gaza and the West Bank. Then what that's going to do is it's going to show the world and the international community who they really are, what they really are. And what I mean by that is the Israeli government, Netanyahu's regime, who and what they represent. And that's where we're at on that level of the precipice. The Great Awakening. That's why General Flynn's video there showed you JFK assassination, September 11th, Charlie Kirk assassination, Netanyahu. Telling you the reign of terror there. Now, do you remember those SIM cards that we were talking about the other day? I mean, listen, there is a massive war being fought on this planet right now. Mostly hidden, but actors are all ready. You remember those SIM cards that they dismantled by the UN in the New York tri-state area? Yeah, do you know who they found that they were related to? China. China is running psychological warfare operations directly in the United States of America. They had all the positioning of electronic warfare that do massive cyber attacks, DDoS attacks, and encrypted communication with their agents inside the United States of America. Now, why would you need 300 SIM servers and over 100,000 SIM cards? Because that's what you utilize when you have an army inside of another country. You remember the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Chinese military-age males that came over the border? How does China communicate with them? There you have it. So, pretty interesting there. I don't know what's going to come of it, but something needs to happen. And the reason I say something needs to be happened is because this is the precipice. This is the moment when it all begins to happen. 10-3 to 10-6, I think something big's going to happen. But let me lay this out. Ukraine, Russia, China, Taiwan, North Korea, South Korea, U.S., Venezuela, domestically in the United States of America. Those are the 5 boiling points right now in the world. And I believe that we're about to see all 5 of them explode. This is why the preparations are being made. If you go back to my earlier content, this is what I call the firestorm. This is going to have economic impacts. This is going to have impacts on infrastructure. This is going to bring about Insurrection Act and martial law. This is going to eradicate these terrorist cells from our country, but it's also going to exploit a greater scenario. The EU absolutely wants World War III with Russia. They are instigating this day in and day out with these false drone attacks that Russia is saying, those aren't ours. And it was funny, too, because 2 days ago, you had the shelling. Russia shelling hit Chernobyl. No, it didn't. But then Russia does massive military strikes inside Kyiv and absolutely decimates them. They do this every once in a while to show how powerful they really are. And I've said this before, as Russia wanted to take Ukraine, it absolutely would. They're waiting for a go sign. What's that go sign? Go back to Flynn's video. He shows corroboration between Trump and Putin. This is how you take out the deep state. You set the stage. You set the traps. The EU right now is in a precarious situation. They are going to act on Russia. What happens when that occurs? I believe Donald Trump's going to rug pull them on NATO. I think that he's going to say, hey, we got our own thing going on. You guys enjoy. They're going to say, well, you're abide by Article 5. And he's going to say, oh, we're leaving NATO. See ya, bye-bye. That's it. I think that that's potentially what we'll see right there. That means that the EU will have to deal with Russia, which means that if they don't have the backing of the United States of America, the EU, they are not going to fight that fight, and they're not going to want a war. China and Taiwan. China is only going to go into Taiwan when they see the United States of America weakened at its core. That means when martial law kicks off, you're going to have one incursion over in Venezuela when the U.S. starts bombing Venezuela, potentially being dragged into the EU and Russia. That's when China will invade Iran or Taiwan. But it'll only happen when North Korea begins bombing South Korea, because the U.S. by law has to defend South Korea. Then you have Israel and Iran. What do you think happens when Israel's veil gets pulled up? When the world begins to see who they truly are, that Donald Trump just negotiated peace, all they had to do is just stop dropping bombs. And then all of a sudden, there's a false flag operation, and they're going right back in. They need a distraction. They need a resetting of the clock. Who's the great boogeyman in the Middle East? That's Iran. I covered that last night, though. What if Iran has been prepped? What if Iran is in on it? What if Iran is waiting for all of this to occur so we can take out the real evil in this world? Because over the course of the next few days, the next few weeks, and the next few months, what we are simply watching is the eradication of the evil in this world that has got its grips throughout the entirety of our planet, that has infiltrated governments, it's infiltrated organizations, it's societies, local governments. Everywhere you look, it's there. And how do you eradicate it? You have to do it simultaneously. You have to do it at one strategic, tactical point. You can't simply go out there and slowly reduce its numbers, because then it'll only rise up stronger. You have to hit it all at the same time. And it's going to get scary. It's going to look like World War III. It's going to look like our cities are burning. But trust, have faith. I believe that what Donald Trump, General Flynn, what the Q team, if you want to call it that, are doing, I believe that they are going to be successful. I believe they believe they're going to be successful, that they have a foolproof plan. They haven't let us down so far. I think that all that other stuff, the Epstein file, all is this. The reason the PSYOP is occurring with it all is just wait. It's coming. But we have to do other things first. There's a series and process that they have to go through in order to do what they're doing. So keep that in mind in the coming days. I'm going to go ahead and do this guy right here. So you probably noticed Rumble is growing fast and it's not slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first and actually protects free speech. And now there's Rumble Premium. As an easy way to upgrade your experience with Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform, no pre-rolls, no interruptions, just the content you came for. Plus, Premium members unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators. Right now, Rumble is offering $10 off an annual subscription. Just go to rumble.com/premium and use the promo code STUDIO at checkout. That's rumble.com/premium, promo code STUDIO. No ads, more freedom, and the content you actually care about. That's the deal. And by the way, I appreciate everybody out there who's subscribing to Rumble and our Rumble rants and all of our subscriptions that are coming in. You guys are absolutely amazing. I appreciate you more than you ever know. Trying this out with Rumble Studio for the next few days, just trying to see what we can do. And it's an easy way to bring in advertisers that we agree with, that we support. So love the NFL. I love Rumble. So those are two good ones. I hope that if you choose, use that promo code there. Let me see. Tomorrow I am recording in the morning with Nino and Alpha Warrior in a roundtable. Right now, I'm heading over the Badlands for OnlyLands. And so there's going to be a few of us joining in OnlyLands. I'll be there about 15, 20 minutes, but I hope to see some of you guys there. Go support our guys over at Badlands. Buckle up, because I think shit's going to happen really fast. Now, if it does, if things begin to kick off over the course of the next few days, and it's the weekend, I'll do a show. I'm going to come on. We'll do a show. We're going to absolutely report the news and expect some more content from us here soon. So, all right, guys, I love you. Much love, respect. God bless. Take care. Have a great night. Have a great weekend if I don't see you. Other than that, good night.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. The air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation. I want you to get mad.
I have come here to chew bubblegum
and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
The more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
These people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!